This is the Microschool Minute, your weekly dose of microschooling news and events.
In this week's edition, in Blount County, Tennessee, a groundbreaking experiment is underway at the Samuel Everett School of Innovation. This public hybrid school, launched in 2018, is reimagining education for a community where 1 in 5 children are homeschooled. Students attend in-person classes just 1 day a week and spend the rest of their time learning at home under a guided curriculum. Teachers at Samuel Everett face unique challenges. With limited in-class hours, they focus heavily on core academics, using assessments to guide their time. Despite their unconventional schedules, these educators report high job satisfaction, over 90% according to a National Hybrid Schools Project survey. Parents too play an active role, collaborating with teachers to support student learning at home. This isn't just happening in Tennessee, but in Georgia's Gwinnett County. High schools are integrating hybrid learning for advanced courses. And in Texas, Dallas Hybrid Prep serves grades 3 through 8 as the state's first public hybrid school. These programs offer flexibility for families, reduce teacher burnout, and help to reignite community trust in public education systems. But innovation isn't confined to hybrid models. The Center on Reinventing Public Education and Transcend's Canopy project tracks groundbreaking practices in schools nationwide. Since 2019, this initiative has documented how schools tackle equity, mental health, and deeper learning. For example, Noel Academy in Rhode Island improved attendance by implementing student support systems including on-site daycare and one-to-one mentoring. Meanwhile, Chicago's Bennett Day School adopted a competency-based assessment system, prioritizing skill development over traditional grades. And at San Diego Met High School, students earn credits through internships and tuition-free college courses, blending real-world experience with academics. Despite these successes, challenges remain. Schools struggle with funding, teacher pipelines, and restrictive policies around graduation and scheduling. Yet, 84% of Canopy schools still aim to be on the cutting edge, driven by a commitment to equity and student agency. From hybrid schooling in Tennessee to competency-based assessments in Chicago, one thing is clear. The future of education is innovative, flexible, and deeply collaborative. Schools embracing change today are laying the foundation for a more personalized, effective education system of tomorrow. Texas is witnessing a major legislative push for education savings accounts, also known as ESAs. HB 1657 proposes an education savings account program to empower families with state funds for private school tuition, homeschooling expenses, and other education-related costs. If passed, this program would allow parents greater flexibility in tailoring their children's education. With an estimated 79 pro-voucher supporters in the Texas House, momentum for this initiative has grown. However, questions linger over eligibility, accountability, and funding caps. For instance, last year's $500 million proposal would have provided $10,500 per student, benefiting only a fraction of Texas's 5.5 million public school students. Critics argue that such initiatives could drain resources from public schools already facing budget shortfalls, while advocates emphasize the importance of prioritizing low-income families and students with disabilities while balancing accountability and universal access. North Dakota is also seeing momentum, with legislatures considering ESA programs alongside public charter school expansions. Governor Burgum's $50 million pilot program aims to provide supplemental funds to both public and private school students for extracurriculars and specialized services. Since its 2022 expansion, over 83,000 students have participated, drawing over $800 million in state funding. Critics of school choice programs often point to funding concerns. In Arizona, public schools have faced closures due to declining enrollment. Meanwhile, some ESA programs have encountered fraud and administrative delays. However, advocates argue that these issues can be mitigated with better oversight and that competition drives educational improvement. Public school enrollment has dropped 2.5% since 2019, a trend accelerated by the pandemic. This decline further underscores the need for adaptive solutions like microschools to meet shifting demands. School choice programs promise to provide families with alternatives to traditional public schools, but the journey is far from straightforward. According to a report by the Center on Reinventing Public Education, opportunity gaps persist across socioeconomic, geographic, and cultural lines. Researchers identified several barriers, including limited options for rural students and those with disabilities, opaque admission processes, and early deadlines. Although 3 in 10 students participated in school choice programs from 2007 to 2019, the COVID-19 pandemic spurred modest increases in homeschooling and private school enrollments. In regions like San Francisco, lottery-based public school programs offer families greater flexibility, yet significant challenges remain. CRPE recommends collecting detailed data on student movements and expanding high-quality school choice options to ensure equitable access for all families. Declining enrollment is forcing tough decisions in West Virginia, where financial distress has led to the closure of 53 schools over the past 5 years. This year alone, 7 schools across 4 counties will shut their doors. These closures, driven by population declines and insufficient funding, highlight a systematic crisis. For example, Clay County Middle will merge into other local schools by 2027, following a 31% drop in student enrollment since 2016. Similarly, Hundred High School, known for offering diverse opportunities, will be consolidated due to further budget constraints and the need for resource optimization. While these measures aim to stabilize finances, they have profound implications for affected communities and families. In Alabama, the CHOOSE Act will soon offer families up to $7,000 annually to support private school tuition. This initiative prioritizes students with special needs, military families, and low-income households, aiming for statewide availability by 2027. Funds can be used for tuition, textbooks, technology, and more, but participants must meet strict eligibility criteria. Accredited schools must also comply with standardized testing and financial reporting requirements. And as the program unfolds, it could serve as a model for other states exploring school choice initiatives. The education scene in 2024 has seen significant changes and shifting priorities. According to a National Center for Education Statistics survey, 50% of public school leaders reported feeling understaffed this October, a rise from 45% in 2023. The loss of federal pandemic recovery funds and declining enrollment have left many schools grappling with budget cuts, particularly in special education, where 34% of schools reported severe staffing shortages. Looking back, microschools continue to emerge as a growing trend in 2024, offering small, personalized learning environments and non-traditional schedules. Recent polls show that up to 10% of parents are currently utilizing or considering microschools of one sort, with an additional 23% expressing interest in learning more. The appeal lies in their ability to cater to unique student trends and bypass traditional education's one-size-fits-all model. Research makes it clear that microschooling aligns with the public's demand for school choice, and according to a November poll, 76% of parents support education savings accounts, indicating strong bipartisan approval for customizable educational options. When polled, about 64% of parents indicated belief that it's crucial for schools to offer advanced coursework, and over half of private school parents indicated a willingness to switch schools if such programs were removed. Alongside academics, career-connected learning is gaining momentum. Programs like internships and dual-credit courses are now accessible to 71% and 89% of students respectively. However, significant gaps remain in post-secondary advising. Nearly 40% of high school leaders lack access to critical data like FAFSA completion rates and student employment statistics. As a result, advising remains limited, with counselors managing overwhelming caseloads. Artificial intelligence continues to revolutionize education. Experts predict AI literacy and problem-solving skills will become graduation requirements by 2025. Tools like AI-powered simulations and personalized tutoring are enabling unique project-based learning opportunities, particularly in microschools. While AI holds promise for improving access and personalization, it also introduces risk, especially in youth mental health. Approximately 53% of Gen Z students cite mental health as their primary concern. As we approach 2025, decentralization and personalized learning are set to dominate. States are taking more control over educational goals, while schools explore AI tools to create customized pathways for students. Microschools stand out as a key innovation, demonstrating how small-scale adaptive models can meet the demands of a rapidly changing world. Today, we take a moment to highlight 2 noteworthy developments shifting the future of education: a trailblazing nonprofit's recognition and a legislative milestone addressing financial aid access for students. First, let's celebrate an inspiring achievement in educational innovation. Vimenti, an integrated services center for families based in Puerto Rico, has reached the semifinals for the prestigious 2024 YAS Prize. Announced during a live event at Forbes headquarters in New York City, this recognition is a testament to Vimenti's mission to eradicate generational and child poverty through transformative education. As the only non-profit semifinalist, Vimente was awarded a $200,000 grant to further its groundbreaking two-generational model, which addresses the needs of both children and their families. Lola Iglesias, director of Vimente's full-service community schools program, expressed immense pride and hope in their achievement, crediting the dedicated team behind their success. The YAS Prize selected 24 semifinalists based on their proposals for improving education, evaluating them on 4 core principles: sustainability, transformational impact, outstanding outcomes, and permissionless education. With over 850 judges involved, this competition emphasizes innovation and the ability to adapt to evolving educational needs. In a move that simplifies financial aid access for students, President Joe Biden signed the FAFSA Deadline Act into law this week. The legislation mandates the release of the free application for federal student aid, or FAFSA, by October 1st of every year, starting in 2025. The change comes in response to confusion and delays caused by late rollouts of the FAFSA in previous cycles. The new law requires the United States Department of Education to certify by September if they can meet the October 1st deadline. If delays are anticipated, the Secretary of Education must provide testimony to Congress by September 30th each year. This law represents a rare bipartisan achievement with unanimous support in both the House and Senate chambers. Representative Aaron Hushin, who introduced the bill, explained that a consistent release date reduces uncertainty for families preparing for college. The legislation has also been lauded by higher education groups, who note that it will enable institutions to provide financial aid details earlier, giving students more time to make informed decisions. Undersecretary of Education James Cavall assured stakeholders that preparations for the October 1st, 2025 rollout are on track, bolstered by extensive beta testing and a detailed plan for execution. School vouchers aim to give parents more educational choice, often through public funds that can be used for private schooling or other alternatives. But are they the great equalizer, or a tool that widens inequity? Thomas Arnett of the Christensen Institute suggests a sliding scale model for education savings account vouchers, adjusting funding based on the needs of the student. The goal is to foster innovation and equity simultaneously, allowing students with greater challenges, such as those from lower income families or with special educational needs, to receive more support. Sounds promising, right? Yet critics argue that this vision falls short. Why? Because the private education market isn't inherently motivated to serve higher needs students. Without mechanisms like accountability and substantial funding increases, the system risks reinforcing inequities. Arnett does envision microschools as disruptors. However, skeptics see this as more of a free market solution than a transformative educational model. The reality? Without oversight, many voucher systems favor affluent families and leave underserved populations behind. However, these schools offer a viable alternative to families in need. Since its inception, the Biden-Harris administration has prioritized making college more accessible and affordable for students. A cornerstone of this effort is the federal Pell Grant program, which has supported millions of low and moderate income families since 1973. This vital program not only opens doors to higher education, but also strengthens the middle class and the broader economy. But let's talk numbers. The administration has significantly increased the maximum Pell Grant to $7,395, a $900 boost, and the largest increase in a decade. This milestone expands access to higher education for approximately 1.2 million additional students. Altogether, Pell Grants now reach over 7 million students nationwide, distributing nearly $37 billion in college aid. Efforts are also underway to double the maximum Pell Grant by 2029, which could profoundly alleviate financial barriers for students, allowing them to focus on their education and future careers. As Kayla Pouncey, a University of Alabama graduate, explains, "I would not be in college without the Pell Grant. Increasing federal funding is just the start to supporting students. It's very easy for people to have their potential limited due to the lack of funding." These testimonies illustrate how essential Pell Grants are in reducing financial barriers as college costs continue to rise, empowering students to pursue higher education, and fostering a brighter, more equitable future. With bipartisan support, this initiative hopes to raise the bar on what it means to invest in the success of everyday Americans. Next, we turn our attention to Denver, Colorado for this week's Microschool Showcase. Let's explore La Luz, a microschool determined to redefine how students engage with learning and the community, reimagining what public education could look like. La Luz was founded in 2020 by Kyle Gamba, a former public school educator who was frustrated by the disengagement he witnessed in the traditional classroom. Gamba envisioned a better way, a model that could reignite a passion for learning while maintaining accessibility for all. La Luz is tuition-free, supported by grants, and serves the same student demographic as local public schools, all while working with the same per-student funding. So, what's the difference? At La Luz, education isn't confined to four walls. Instead, students spend their days immersed in a blend of traditional academics and experiential learning. Each morning, students start with academic instruction in classrooms rented from Denver public schools. After that, the real magic happens. The 40 students at La Luz step into the world, spending the rest of their day learning through hands-on experiences. On Mondays, this often means venturing into nature. Guided by their teachers, students explore local parks, combining lessons in ecology, science, and creativity. The rest of the week, they learn on-site with community partners. And every 3 to 6 weeks, the setting shifts. Past rotations have included dynamic experiences at places like the Denver Zoo and History, Colorado. At each location, students collaborate with both educators and experts from the hosting organization, allowing them to dive deeply into subjects in a way that's both interactive and meaningful. This innovative approach doesn't just aim to teach facts, it aims to cultivate curiosity and engagement. La Luz isn't just a microschool, it's a vision for the future of education, by demonstrating how public education could blend academic rigor with experiential learning while staying budget conscious and accessible. La Luz is setting an example for what's possible in schools everywhere. If you know a microschool that deserves a shout out, drop a comment below and let us know about the work they're doing. Thank you for tuning in again to the Microschool Minute, your weekly review of microschooling news and events. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you'd like to support us, consider leaving a review. From all of us here, we wish you a wonderful Christmas season, and we'll see you in the new year. Until next time, remember, they may be called microschools, but they're making a big impact.